Welcome back to the Religious Treehouse. I'm Jodie.
I'm Matthew.
How are you doing today, Matthew?
Can I be honest, Jody?
You can.
Can I share one of my personal struggles with the world on this podcast? Something
Yes,
deeply personal and private with me.
indeed.
I have a problem.
Uh-huh.
And that problem is I have too many books
Oh,
and not enough bookshelves. And I'm
well,
at the point where I'm just like stacking books in places because
mhm.
I've run out of places for them to sit upright as they deserve.
Okay. Perhaps another bookshelf is in order.
Yeah, I've been on the lookout. That's top of my priorities list.
Okay. Have we
But
thought IKEA?
you think I'm gonna buy a new bookshelf, Jody?
You're so right. What am I saying?
Yeah, you think we make money from this?
So true.
No.
No.
Yeah, like one day when we make money from this, I'll buy brand new bookshelves. Don't
Oh,
you
okay.
worry.
Yeah.
But until then, until then,
Until
we're looking
then.
for some cheap used bookshelves.
And we must keep an eye out on the street corners where people dump their things.
Yeah, my eyes are looking for it. But that's my struggles. That's my
Yeah.
personal struggles and problems. What are your personal struggles and problems right now, Jody?
I'm so glad you are so vulnerable because that has empowered me to also be
Mhm.
vulnerable.
Mhm.
It is a Love Island off night. So, like, After Sun is coming out, but they showed us the first half of movie night last night, and I am frothing at the mouse for the second part
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
Sincere is going to get his booty handed to him by Melanie
Yeah,
one way or another. I'm just done. These men are playing around in these women's faces and I'm tired of it.
tell me about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope they don't make a habit of it.
Oh,
Eh. Did you
hey.
guys know this was a movie episode? And if you didn't know, I start the movie episodes because movies, television. Matthew does all the religious things.
Yeah.
But this,
We're peeling back the layers. We're telling you how this works if you haven't figured it out. Guys, this is one of our special late night recording episodes,
yeah.
so I'm excited for this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Um
the religious treehouse. After dark, we watch Sister Act. Which is
um
not really like that risque of a movie, but I had
at
never seen
all.
it before.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it risque at all.
No,
Uh, but still, TRT after dark.
yeah. No, it was definitely an experience watching it for the first time. Connor assumed I had already seen it. He's like, this is right up your alley. And I'm like, it is.
Well,
I just,
the amount of times that you've like recommended, hey, we need to watch Sister Act, and it's just been like pushed back. I assumed this was like a favorite of yours, and you're like, oh my goodness, there's so much commentary on religion, and we're gonna have so much to talk about. But this was a first for both of us.
oh, great.
Cool. So
Fantastic.
yeah, I'm excited. Spoilers in advance. Not a ton to talk about regarding religion, but like we'll talk about it. Uh,
It was
but there's
there.
plenty. It was there.
It,
It
it,
was very present.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'd say so. Interwoven with a mob wit sex storyline
yeah.
and Maggie Smith's Barb's.
Well, yeah.
I love Maggie Smith.
I mean, who doesn't love Maggie Smith? Is there anyone out there that's like, I can't stand a movie that Maggie Smith is in?
That's crazy.
Like, I couldn't imagine that.
Unfathomable, quite frankly.
Yeah, and did she exist before? Like, no offense to her, but did she exist before she was old? Like,
Obviously,
I'm
you
sure
just
she
saw
did.
her.
I'm okay, but she still was like old in this movie.
Well, yes, Spring Chicken Maggie Smith has been documented, I believe.
I want to see a young Maggie Smith movie.
We'll see if we can find one of her movies that's religious to do for the podcast. Otherwise, we'll just watch one for funsies.
I'm pulling up her IMDb page.
Attaboy.
Ooh, she was in a movie in 1969, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. That sounds fun. Oh my
Mm.
goodness, she was young. Look at that.
She didn't just pop out of the ether, all majestic and wise.
But it's like the Morgan Freeman. Like, did Morgan Freeman ever exist as a young man? Like, I'm sure he did, but
Shawshank Redemption.
I couldn't picture Morgan Freeman as a young person. Like,
I saw Driving Miss Daisy. He was so
Was
good in that.
was he young in it?
Ish.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Wow, this is why we're film critics, guys. Like, this is why we're here talking about film and stuff
The
in the
top
late
of the
night
top.
conversations, talking about old actors
Oh
that we
my.
couldn't imagine
Whoopi.
possibly being young.
It was fun to see younger Whoopi Goldberg. I
Yeah,
must say, she still looks relatively the same in my eyes.
yeah, no, but that was definitely a younger Whoopi Goldberg. Um, as opposed to, yeah, Jodie, would you like to give us a summary of this
I
movie?
would love to. So there was a lounge singer, a beautiful lounge singer, who was accompanied by, oh my goodness, Jennifer Lewis.
Oh,
And do you know who Jennifer Lewis is? Love her too.
no, I
But
don't.
there was a lounge singer. She had two little sidekicks. They sang, they danced. She was dating the owner of the hotel and the lounge, except he had a wife. And she had had enough and she was putting her foot down and leaving. And then they bring her a fur coat. And she's like, oh, fur. It has his wife's name on it. I must return the fur. I don't know who thinks he's playing with. She goes, she witnesses a crime. And then police.
A
And
murder,
then
nonetheless.
a murder. She witnesses a murder, goes to the police. They're like, hey, we need to put you somewhere safe. What if we took you to a convent? And
Mhm.
then they take her to the convent. Maggie Smith sees her, shuts the door, and goes, I can't hide that. I'm just kind of like, come on, Maggie, you didn't even try.
Mhm.
So they dress her up. They give her the name Sister Mary. Was it Lawrence?
Mary,
Was it Lawrence?
it could. Mary Clarence?
Clarence.
Yeah.
It was Clarence, but my favorite sister was Lazarus. She was funny.
Hmm.
Sister Mary
Is she
Clarence,
the one that sang really high or the one that sang really soft?
the one who initially directed the choir.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, she was curmudgeon-y. I liked that. Anyways, so she joins the convent and she kind of starts to let her little pieces of her personality slip out because she feels she's being contained. And yada yada, such and such happens. She ends up leading the choir. She's given one task: lead the choir. So she starts leading the choir. And through her service leading the choir, she helps empower the other nuns to begin making changes to the neighborhood they live in, which is not a great one. It's rough and tumble. It is very stereotypical, pre gentrified hood.
Hmm.
Like, is what I think it could be described as. Graffiti everywhere. And the
Yeah,
nuns don't really leave the convent because Maggie Smith is keeping them safe.
right.
Don't leave the walls, children. The world out there is very dangerous. And they're just like, we want to go help the people. We became nuns to help people, but all we do is stay here in these four walls and talk to each other. And so they are desperate for human connection. And so through the inspiration of Whoopi Goldberg and the guidance of Maggie Smith, they make a difference. Such a big difference. The Pope comes to town and visits them to hear them sing their beautiful voices because their singing has brought more people into the church and more people to God. Hallelujah. Amen. But wait, the murder. Yes. Her boyfriend finds her. He tracks her down. They take her back to Vegas, Reno, not even Las Vegas. They're in Reno.
Nevada.
They're in Nevada. And the nuns come to the rescue. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll get into it. They guilt a pilot into flying them to Reno. It was beautiful, masterful. Anyways, and then they save Whoopi. And then they perform for the Pope. And there's a sequel. So I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah, maybe you'll make me watch the sequel.
I probably will because I was like, well, what happens next? I'm like, and it gave me the same feeling Miss Congeniality did,
Mm,
um, except reversed. It was very cool, very
rever-
fun. Where shall we start?
yeah, let's. Oh, should we just dive into the music of it? I feel
Beautiful.
like we, the movies that I choose
Hmm.
and the movies that you choose, I don't
Yeah.
feel like there's intention for it to be musical of some sort. I think it just happens naturally that the movies I choose and the movies you choose happen to have a musical aspect to it.
Well, yeah.
And I think that's great. I think
Hmm.
that's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. No, can't stop us. You don't
Right.
have control over what we do.
No, no. um yeah, Dybbuk that had some music to it. Brother Bear that had music.
Oh, yeah. The score in
Um
Brother Bear slaps.
yeah, then we before that Testament of Ann Lee, so much music. Yeah, Evan Almighty, which was many, many weeks ago, was our last non-musical. And even that one, like everybody dance now, so iconic in Evan Almighty. So we are attracted to a movie with a soundtrack.
Yeah.
And this is no different. Let's start with the music because I feel like that's such like a central part of this movie.
Well, when we first meet our choir, they suck.
They did.
And when we first meet Whoopi, we're like, wow, she's amazing. She's held back by being in Reno. And then we bring the two together, and it's like, wow, she makes magic come out of their mouths. Okay, because like the choir was all mixed up, they weren't split into their sections. That's like,
Yeah.
that's rule number one. That's rule number one. And they were,
Well,
hmm,
it was very clear that music was not a priority in this church.
yeah,
And I don't know, I love church hopping and going to different churches.
yeah,
And it's so fun seeing the difference in like the underfunded churches where they have like two or three volunteers that like try their best to sing
mm-hmm,
compared to, the all put together rich churches that
mm-hmm,
get all of the super fancy good singers in town to sing for them and it sounds so
yes,
amazing.
yeah,
And like as someone who's not like invested
mm-hmm,
in like church as that as a thing there, the music is one of my favorite things to just like analyze and think through. Like, why do we choose those songs that they play? Why are these people singing them? I think it's such a fun aspect of the Christian liturgy, the Christian service that happens
yeah,
in almost every church every week.
yeah,
And like the fact that it's good or bad, I don't think is ever the point for Christians who practice
mm-hmm,
on Sundays or whenever. But there's such love and care from the practitioners, and if you like talk to someone about like I think this movie came in the 90s where there was a big discussion in especially Protestant churches. I don't think there was as big of a discussion in Catholic churches, but
yeah,
it was still certainly there. But in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, there's this big conversation in Christianity regarding like worship music
yes,
as like what's appropriate. And this isn't something that I'm like super
mm-hmm,
qualified to talk on, but just as like an observer of like what's going on here, of
yeah,
like what's acceptable in worship. And so many like the older generations were very much into organ music or a cappella and stuff like that. And you keep to the hymns, you keep to the regular, and then we have this push for younger generations, typically looking for
mm-hmm,
more hip and cool and guitar music. Oh my goodness, bringing a guitar into church, scandalous. And I think that's the conversation that this movie is really jumping into.
yeah,
It's saying, what's the humor here? How can we twist our expectations of looking
mm-hmm,
at a very conservative, old school, old style church and insert Whoopi Goldberg and all of the chaos of modern music and style into that? And how would that flip the script? And that's
yeah,
the humor and chaos of it all.
yeah,
Because we look at what we imagine is a very, very conservative,
mm-hmm,
old school style worship setting, and we flip
mm-hmm,
it on its head. And that's the humor and
yeah,
that's the excitement of the narrative going on
yeah.
here.
And yeah, and the use of, not the use, but Whoopi's character being a Black woman was symbolic of Black culture's influence on
Mm-hmm.
church music.
Yeah,
Like they were the first to add flavor to
for
what
sure.
was being performed in churches. And Black churches have always not made, I don't know if I can say always, but
Mm,
from what I understand from Black churches, it's a very much a place of joy. And just there's an energy to it.
yeah.
And in the 70s, they were losing to the hippies and they had to have the Jesus resurgence and then that damn rock and roll. came into play, so they had to keep up with that too. So it was very fun watching her marry the old Latin hymns with it when they started clapping with the
Yeah.
hymn. I thought Maggie Smith was going to lose her mind. I'm like, they're just clapping, sister. It's just clapping. But that seemed to be a tad too much. And then we, at the end, get the song. Oh my gosh, what is it called?
Yeah, there were a
Oh,
lot of
my guy.
songs. Yeah.
Yes. My,
Hmm.
they changed it to my God.
Right.
That was very cute.
Revolutionary. Yeah.
Revolution. Really never been done before. Um, so definitely a fun thing to hear. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
It spoke to me on so many deep levels. I was like, why aren't we doing more hymns? Why didn't they just like jazz up the hymns more?
Yeah.
What's the need for heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss? You know, why was that necessary?
Yeah.
You can't eat breakfast in hell? It's just, I fear we lost the plot
Mhm.
with revitalizing the music that means so much spiritually.
Yeah, and like there's definitely different pushes in different branches of Christianity.
Yes.
And I do think that there is kind of, and again, I'm no expert on this, but this is
Mhm.
just the vibes that I'm feeling. I do
Yes.
feel like there is a sense of resurgence in younger Christians
Mhm.
that that want to kind of go back to older school style of hymns and look at the history there. I don't think that's
Yes.
across the board by any means,
No.
but I do think that there is the pendulum swinging back to some extent in Christian culture in that way.
Yes.
Um, I don't
The
com
circle.
I yeah, I can't comment on whether that's a good or bad thing. I don't know. That's not my fight. But I do it does speak to one of my critiques of Christian music, which
Hmm?
isn't anything, you know, revolutionary here.
Lay it
But the
on us.
fact that we can switch my guy to my God and it just sound like, it still sounds like your stereotypical Christian song.
Really does.
Like it's the joke. Like, is this contemporary Christian song about
Hmm.
God or about a lover?
Yes.
And you really can't tell 90% of the time
No.
because it
Heaven meets
uses
earth
that.
like a sloppy wet kiss.
Right. It uses so much of modern Christian music uses like formulaic words and phrases that speak to their desired audience that are expecting those words and phrases.
Yeah.
And if you don't use those words and phrases that are designated as modern contemporary
Hmm.
Christian music, that doesn't get picked up on. It's not signaled to the correct audience. So I think so much of modern Christian music has to do that in a way that old hymns don't, where old hymns have a cadence that they have to go to.
Yeah.
The same cadence 5 times, 3 times over.
Hmm.
And the words can change up a little bit, where so much of the old hymn books follow that sense. But the modern Christian music is much more focused on calling out to specific phrases to say, "Hey, this is me. We're part of the same group here because I use the same words as you."
Yeah.
At least in Protestant circles.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
They're signaling to each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's a healthy part of any religion. That's something you'd expect of any religion, of any
Yeah.
of any group, social political group. You
Yeah.
you wear certain clothes that identify you as part of the group. You act certain ways. You perform costly signaling in some form or another
Yeah.
in order to signify and put yourself in as a group.
Yet still so divisive.
Yeah.
Like I saw a Christian gymnastics place the
Mhm.
other day, and my first thought was, I fear we've lost the plot. I fear we've put too much stock. And I was sitting there, I was like, do I have an issue with the cross being used in branding? I don't know. Like
Why?
religious symbols used in branding, like to make money to market off of.
Yeah, okay, so there's a big who knows what this episode is,
Who
but
knows?
like so much of especially East Asian religions, Hinduism,
Hmm.
Buddhism,
Hmm.
stuff like that. So much of that is used in like health branding and stuff like that as a way to like signify like
Yeah.
Eastern medicine, spirituality type things. Like the lotus flower is everywhere.
Chakras.
Like if you like pay attention to like,
Mm.
the healthy energy drinks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and those things, like the lotus flower is like it's everywhere. And so
Everywhere.
so much of culture is permeated by these religious imagery.
Mm.
And and one of my professors was talking about this, and he's
Mm.
like, and he was asking the questions, he was like wrestling with this himself, like, is it okay, because he would wear these, like, I forget what they were called, but he was a big fan of some um East Asian type style clothing.
Yeah.
It was like his brand, but he was like, is it okay for me to be buying this at a music festival, like being pushed by like someone who is like selling traditional, let's just for the sake of the conversation, who's selling like traditional Buddhist clothing, who like is Buddhist but like is pretty much Buddhist for the money?
Yeah.
Or like, is it somehow better to like buy this clothing from someone who is like traditionally Buddhist and is doing this as like a trade?
Yeah.
It's a fine line. I don't know how to walk it, but I think it is a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. Hmm. So we were talking about the signaling in different musical phrases, and I
Hmm.
was going to go on about how I feel that's divisive, and I do feel that's divisive, but I also
Yeah,
feel like it can be a little objectifying to God.
yeah.
And my brain, heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss, and I'm like, are we sexualizing God? Are we creating? And I understand an
Hmm.
intimacy, but what kind of intimacy?
Sure.
And who is that reserved for? And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I thought
that's
it was very cute for the nuns who are married to
yeah.
God to see
And
my guy.
there is a tradition, a Christian tradition of viewing God in a romantic way of some sort. If we look at like the Christian mystics,
Mm,
particularly,
mm.
um,
Yes.
whose names I'm forgetting right now.
Yes. The one who got married with Jesus's foreskin, that one.
There's like Teresa of Avila and um,
Hildegard. Hildegard.
Hildegard. Yeah, those people who do have language of sensual language regarding Jesus
Yeah.
and God and stuff. So there's a history of Christian tradition speaking of God and the divine in this more sensual way. But that's beside the point. That's not even what
Yet.
this movie is
No,
hardly
no, no,
about.
no, no.
Yeah.
No, but it is. But it is.
Yeah.
Because Whoopi's character was shamed for her promiscuity
Mhm.
and her sexuality to a degree by Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
And the entire movie is about nuns. And
Mhm.
that's to me, like, do you sexualize a nun? Can one sexualize a nun? Are hot nun costumes okay?
If you remember my critique of Nacho Libre,
Yes.
episode
Mm-hmm.
62, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh, is that there is this fetishizing of monks and nuns and Catholic fathers and stuff like that in
Yeah.
so much of media.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw that in this movie per se,
No.
but no, that is, I think, very prevalent in Hollywood.
Yeah. But back to this movie, the nuns started doing community service,
Mm,
which was so good.
yeah.
But it
Oh,
also begs the question,
one
why
last
weren't they?
thing
Oh, sorry.
on the movies or
Yes.
on the music before we
Yes.
move on. The fact that there was that division between the
Mm,
old style of music and the new style of music,
mm.
and the Pope accepting and enjoying this new style of music,
Woo.
I think speaks to much of the and I touched on this already, speaks to much of the dialogue of what's going on in
Mm.
this time frame.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment on whether or not that new or old music is good or bad, but I think it's important to recognize that religions change, and I think music is a very clear example of
Mm,
how religions can develop and morph over time, and how religions must develop and morph over time.
mm,
Whereas and this is seen in Christianity. I think Christianity exemplifies this as
Mm,
an example of how religion adapts to its time and
yeah,
speaks to the need. Because so much of this movie was the priest being so worried about the attendance, and by becoming more hip with the times, it added membership to the church.
yeah.
And so music being the factor that
Mm.
many Christians think is what's going to bring people to or lead people away from the church, I think I think doesn't speak to me as something that logically would make sense, but I think it's in the mind of what so many Christians think is going to attract people or scare people away from a Sunday service.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I can think of a time when the guitars transferred from acoustic to electric, and that was jarring.
Yeah.
And I was in the younger crowd, and I was like, why are we at a concert? No, but really, what people need to know about church music is that the politics that go into it are horrendous.
Yeah, and
And
I would have loved more on the politics of the music in this church. It was there for sure.
yeah,
Maggie Smith was leading the charge of the old
yes, she
school
was.
politics. But
But Sister Lazarus
uh,
recognized that she had shortcomings
Sister
and
Lazarus, she was wary at first. She said,
yeah,
prove it." And then
prove it.
Whoopi, she proved it, and Lazarus was like, "Yes, ma'am, for
Okay,
sure."
take it away.
But I do think my last thought on the music, then we
Yeah.
can move on to your other thoughts.
Mhm.
That the vast variety of music in the Christian
Yes.
tradition and in a lot of other traditions as
Mhm.
well, but especially in the Christian tradition, is one of the
Yes.
things I very much respect and enjoy in Christianity. I think it's so cool, especially the older stuff. I think there's some contemporary music every once
Mhm.
in a while. I'm like, okay, cool, that's an interesting take.
Yes.
But I think the wide variety of Christian music in all of its forms, I think is so beautiful and fascinating, and shouldn't be just pushed aside as like, hey, that's some religious hoopla that we should ignore. I think it's really beautiful
Yeah,
in so many different ways. But
for
that's
sure.
yeah, yeah,
I think some people should have their pens taken away within the Christian music. Heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss.
yeah,
And
yeah.
take the computer away. And you know what? Some people do have an issue with
Mm.
making explicit songs and putting God's name in there and then making it Christian. I find it entertaining. I love a parody. And if
Sure.
it's a Christian parody, put it on like a Christian kids pop. Okay. I'll play that banger again and again. I just think it's so entertaining. But yes, any more music?
No, I will. I
Because
I'll
we
let
need
you
to
continue.
talk about the lack of community outreach from the nuns.
Sure.
They're there to do what? What are they there to do, Maggie? What were they there for? Were they just there to sit, pray, and contemplate? And she was like, no, we're so scared of all of these people outside of the neighborhood, isn't what it was. These girls can't handle it. You are underestimating your nuns. They became nuns. That's not easy.
Yeah.
That's not chill. Okay. Society was probably laughing at them when they said, I'm going to be a nun.
And again, I think this is highlighting two different Christian perspectives. There
Mm,
are Christian perspectives that go back to the first few centuries of Christianity, where hermits were celebrated, or not, they weren't usually celebrated, they were often laughed at, but there were like this branch of Christianity that had hermits and would go off and do their own thing, and there continues to be those people today, and that is a celebrated and important part of Christianity. And there are other forms of Christianity that's much more prevalent today, where it's much more in your face, hey, we need to do something in this community. And I
yes.
think that's another as I was watching this movie,
Mm.
I could think I was reminded so much of Fiddler on the Roof because like the themes, and they have nothing to do with each other, but I was like, oh my goodness, this is Fiddler on the Roof. They're tackling the same question.
Yeah.
This entire movie, in its religious conversation, the religious conversation of Sister Act, is
Mm.
fundamentally the topic of tradition,
Yes.
like the way things are, or the way things were, and the way things could be.
Yep.
And that's fundamentally what Fiddler on the Roof was as well.
And Sister Act is just Fiddler on the Roof. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And we will simplify it to that.
Yeah. And check
No,
out
but it really
episode
did.
58 for Fiddler on the Roof.
Maybe, maybe not. No, but that's very true. And such a good point because they really do have to wrestle with this. And then you see this nice marrying of the two. I keep saying marrying and merging, but that's just because everything came together perfectly. Like this movie tickled my brain. I was like, finally, I can have it all. I can have that hip rock music and dance around like that one nun while also using Latin. So
Yeah.
this is great.
Yeah.
No, it was very cool to see I just there's just something about this like reinforcing imagery of if you do things, if you serve others, good things come about to the community as a whole. And
Yeah.
the lack of like there was a little bit of condemning in the beginning, let's
Mhm.
be honest. Maggie was a tad judgmental. But when you strip that away and you see the human,
It-
it just, I love community. And this was such a community building movie.
I think I don't think this movie cared about theology at all, but I think what this movie did is present a very appealing form of Christianity
Definitely.
to younger audiences. I don't think that was because of the music. I think it was because so much of younger communities, at least in our, that share our perspectives on things, are very much interested in a religious group that is hands-on in the community, and
Yeah.
they see religion at its best.
Mm.
I think, and I think a lot of people that I surround myself with see religion at its best when it's helping the community, you know, hanging out in the bars with whoever they are,
Yeah.
painting the walls, dancing with people. And when Christianity is perceived as this
Mm.
positive thing where it's helping the community and
Mm.
not trying to form the community,
Yeah.
I think that's a very appealing form of Christianity for much of our generation.
And that's why the kids love those podcasting nuns. And sister, you are so good at that.
The podcasting nuns?
I've not sent you the podcasting nuns.
We have nuns that are our competition, Jodie. No wonder we're not getting
Yes. Yeah, I'm not even watching us. I'm watching them. Just kidding. I haven't given them a full view yet, but I do stop by their videos and it's very fun. Like they talk about their hobbies
Hmm.
and the things they enjoy to do. One of them's really good at ultimate frisbee.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have thought that. And I got to be honest, I would love to see a nun in a bar, like
Yeah.
playing quarters, because these women had past lives. They really showed that in this movie, especially the mechanic nun.
Uh-huh.
Like
Well,
they
they
lived
had
full lives.
yeah, they had past lives, but they also have current lives. I think it's so common for us when we think of whether it be, a Buddhist monk or a Catholic nun or someone who takes their religion very seriously, it's
Mm.
hard for us to see them as a three-dimensional figure. We
Yeah.
often see these people as two-dimensional, you know, monoliths of just,
Mm.
hey, they are nuns, they are monks, they are whatever. But no, I think that's a really good point that you made. Like we really saw personality shine through that is not something that we commonly see in these tropes.
No, it was very fun and refreshing, even though it was an older movie. I was like, gosh, I've missed this. I've missed Hope Core. I like Hope. And just because I'm all about the nuns right now, did you know there's a convent in New York where they will allow single young women to live with them as they're transitioning into New York City? Like there's a long wait list for it,
Sure.
but they like do like chores around the convent, and the nuns just help these young women figure out their lives in this big city. It's like 850 a month. I don't
Mm.
know. I might run away. Who knows?
Have you been to a church in New York yet? There's so much fun.
I have walked by plenty
Mm.
of them, specifically Trinity Church.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's a really massive one in Harlem I've walked
Mm.
by.
There's, I think, St. Paul. Is that one?
That's probably
St.
it,
Yeah, I
actually.
think St. Paul's. I when I was in New York, we like went in to like just check it out, and like we were like looking around like, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful in here.
No.
And then like they started preaching. We're like, oh no, we're at mass.
Oh no.
uh, like this was
Turn
it was like
around.
not intentional, but like we had fun. We attended mass. It was exciting. It was unintentional, and we were like sweaty and tired from like walking around New York all day, but it was a blast.
I must say, rosary beads have never looked so appealing as that one lady sitting at the piano. And she just didn't even know her hearing aid had turned off. She was so zoned in on her prayers.
Yeah,
I was like, that looks like calming meditation, but actually get back on the keys.
yeah.
Um,
No,
this is a great movie.
I love how like we haven't talked about this movie at all. We're just like nuns, and I didn't realize this as I was watching this. I only realized it as I was talking about it. I love the presentation of Christianity in this movie. I think it did it in such a good way. I don't think there was anything scandalous with its presentation of Catholicism or nuns or anything.
No.
I think I love that we showed um, the one sister who didn't sing very loudly. I love that she was like not a full nun yet, so she didn't wear the headpiece or whatever
Yeah.
that's called. I should know, but um, it did such a good job. Yeah,
The Catholic manipulation was so interesting to me because first it was the father. He's
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, I love the choir. I need to write a letter to the Archbishop letting him know what's been happening under your direction, and had Maggie Smith folding. And then
hmm
when they want to get to Reno, they go to the pilot and he says no. And they start praying, dear Father, please forgive him for not helping us. And may
yeah,
heaven even forgive him like he has not helped us. And I was like, this is hilarious, but also something I fear I've experienced.
yeah. No, there's they definitely presented a passive aggressiveness that is kind of stereotypical.
Yeah, yeah. But
And so much of this movie did resort to caricatures.
yeah,
And like I don't think this by any means represented an actual convent or anything like that. But I don't think that was the goal either. We've resorted to stereotypes in order to frame the broader comedy story, but I don't think it like overstepped anything.
no. And just to be clear, manipulation is okay for the good. For the good. And it was all done for the good.
Oh,
You don't have to be perfect as long as you're good.
the nun scurrying around the casino, hilarious.
And then those two guys, they're like, we can't shoot a nun. She's a nun. And he's like, no, she's not. You know her. She's a singer. Shoot her.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, no, she's a nun. She's a nun. Don't shoot. I'm like, and that is the line. And it's good to think that bad people still have a line. And that line is shooting nuns.
Yeah, yeah.
And
We
that
we we
I
drew the
think
line.
I think that's a good place to end this.
Yeah.
We're drawing
Yeah.
the line. Don't shoot nuns. Matthew, was this a religious movie or merely a movie that depicted religion?
I mean, it depicted religion. Like, don't get me wrong,
I
barely,
fear I
but
felt
like,
I felt God in this Chili's tonight, but yeah,
yeah,
it depicted religion
yeah,
nicely.
yeah. And what would you rate it?
I forgot to rate it 5 stars.
You love giving away 5 stars.
I give away 5 stars like they're candy. Are you kidding me? Especially to Whoopi. What are
Yeah,
you rating it, Matthew?
I I think in this conversation,
Mm,
I originally rated it 3 stars because I thought it was fine. Like I didn't think there's anything like revolutionary about it. I thought it was a good, fun, silly movie.
mm.
In this conversation that we've had, I've rethought my rating, and we're up to 3.5 stars.
Wow, a whole
Ooh,
half
a
star.
whole half star, three and a
You're
half.
welcome, Sister Act. I did my best.
Yeah. But no, it was a great movie. Go watch it if you haven't. I don't think we spoiled much. I mean, we did. We spoiled it all. But
If
like,
you hadn't seen it and you listened to this episode, what are you doing? You know we don't. There's no spoiler warnings here, guys. Get with the program. Thank you for coming back, though. And if
yeah,
this is your first time here, watch any of the other things in our collection.
yeah.
That's a nice way to say it. But follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Bluesky. Matthew said he was going to start getting, I don't know.
I am.
Everything
I
on
am
Blue Sky.
slightly on Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky more than we used to be.
Well, and that's perfect. And we're getting
Yeah.
back on the other socials. We're on Facebook. Email us at thereligioustreehouse@gmail.com. Comments, concerns, critiques. Matthew
Critiques.
loves those.
I love a good critique.
And I love pictures of dogs. So if I could get some of those, that would be great. But it has been so much hanging out with you in the treehouse, and we will see you next week.
We
Bye.
will. Bye. Share this with your local convent. Like, tell them to listen to our podcast episode.
Is there a convent near me? I
Oh,
must
I'm sure.
ask. I'm going to run away one day.
Yeah.
And it's always been to the convent. And it's been that way since the first time I saw The Sound of Music. I'm like, why would Sister Maria want to leave this place? I almost said The Sound of Music.
I've never seen The Sound of Music.
What do you mean you've never seen The Sound of
I
Music?
mean,
You want to
like,
talk about young actresses, young Julie Andrews hits every time.
I'm sure I've seen it like as a youth, but I couldn't tell you what happens in
And to the surgeon who did Julie dirty, I'm coming for you.
it. All
Have a
right.
great
Well,
night.
this has been the Religious Treehouse After Dark. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.